Picture this. You're sitting in front of your computer watching a movie. Everything looks so real. The images, the sound, even the emotions. But when the movie ends, you realize it was just a story someone else created. It was all in your mind. Well, imagine that the movie you were watching was your life. Imagine that the people you loved, the places you visited, and everything you experienced was just a carefully crafted illusion. It might sound crazy, but that's exactly what the simulation hypothesis suggests. The idea that our entire universe is nothing more than a highly advanced computer simulation created by a more intelligent species. We would be like those little ants crawling around in an ant farm, completely unaware that we're being watched by some higher intelligence. In this video, I'm going to take you through the simulation hypothesis, everything you need to know about this mind-bending idea, where it came from, and why top scientists and thinkers like Elon Musk and Stephen Hawking believe we could be living in a computer simulation right now. Before I dive into the specifics, let's talk about what the simulation hypothesis actually is. The simulation hypothesis proposes that our reality is not what it appears to be. Instead, we exist in a computer-generated world created by a highly advanced civilization. Think of it like a video game where everything you see, touch, and feel is just ones and zeros running on a giant supercomputer. Now, you might be thinking this sounds insane, but hear me out because there are some pretty good arguments for why we could be living in a simulation. One of the most compelling arguments for the simulation hypothesis comes from the rapid pace of technological advancement. As we get better and better at creating virtual reality and artificial intelligence, it makes you wonder if what we're experiencing is just a simulation. Remember those old video games like Pong and Space Invaders? They seem primitive now, but back then they were the best we could do. Fast forward to today, and we have games like Fortnite and Cyberpunk. Worlds so immersive and lifelike that they can make you forget you're playing a game. With the exponential growth of technology, it's not hard to imagine that at some point we will be able to create simulations indistinguishable from reality. But it's not just video games. Artificial intelligence is also advancing rapidly. Today's AI can beat humans at chess and Go, but what about tomorrow? What if AI gets so smart that it can create its own worlds? If we keep developing at this rate, it's not unreasonable to think that someday we'll be able to simulate entire universes. And if we can do that, it raises the question, who's to say we haven't been simulated already? Another argument for the simulation hypothesis comes from quantum mechanics. At the smallest level of reality, things don't behave like they do in the real world. Particles can be in two places at once, and they can teleport. It's like nothing we experience in our everyday lives. Some people interpret this as evidence that reality is fundamentally digital, and that our universe is just a simulation. So far, we've talked about two main arguments for the simulation hypothesis: technological advancement and quantum mechanics. But there's one more: the Fermi paradox. This paradox points out that if there are so many Earth-like planets out there, why haven't we found any aliens yet? It seems like if there are other intelligent species out there, we should have found them by now, right? Well, maybe we have and we just don't know it because we're living in a simulation. If a more advanced civilization created our simulation, it stands to reason that they would want to observe us without interfering. It's like when you watch a nature documentary. The filmmakers can observe the animals without interfering, and that's what might be happening to us. Now you might be thinking, come on, this has to be a joke. There's no way we're really living in a simulation. Well, here's where things get interesting. Some of the biggest names in science and technology have actually taken the simulation hypothesis seriously. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, has said that there's a 1 in 1 million chance that we're living in a simulation. That might seem like a pretty low number, but compared to the alternative, it's actually pretty high. The other options are either we re-alone in the universe, or we re-not alone, but have you made contact yet? Musk believes that the chances of either of these scenarios are extremely low. Other notable people who have talked about the simulation hypothesis include theoretical physicist Brian Johnson, futurist Ray Kurzweil, and philosopher Nick Bostrom. So why do so many smart people take this idea seriously? Well, it's because they know just how powerful computers have become, and they know that if we keep developing at this rate, we will eventually be able to create simulations that are indistinguishable from reality. So what if we're living in a simulation? Does it change anything? Probably not. If we're in a simulation, it means that we're being watched by a more advanced civilization. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they re-malicious or that they going to do anything to harm us. It's like when you play a video game. You know that you're being watched by your friends as you play, but that doesn't make the game less enjoyable. In fact, it kind of adds to the fun because you can show off your skills and maybe even get some tips from your friends. Besides, even if we are being watched, it doesn't mean that we're not real. Think about it. If you're watching a movie, you know that the people on the screen aren't real, but that doesn't make the movie any less enjoyable. In fact, you probably cried, laughed, and felt everything, just like if you were experiencing it yourself. Same goes for us. If we're in a simulation, it doesn't mean that we're less real. It just means that we're in a different world, a world that was created by someone else. So what if we're living in a simulation? Should we try to escape? Some people believe that if we're in a simulation, it means that we're trapped in a false reality, and that's not a place that anyone wants to be. However, there's no evidence to suggest that we can escape a simulation. Even if we were to find a way to break the laws of physics, it wouldn't do anything because we're still in a computer-generated world. It's like trying to escape a dream. No matter how hard you try, you can't wake up because you're in a dream state. Similarly, if we're in a simulation, we're stuck in a computer-generated state and there's no escaping it. The simulation hypothesis is a mind-bending idea that challenges everything we know about reality. While it might seem crazy at first, it has some compelling arguments and it has taken seriously by some of the brightest minds in the world. Whether or not you believe in the simulation hypothesis, it's a fascinating topic that makes you question everything you see, touch, and feel. Who knows? Maybe someday we'll find out that we're in a simulation, but until then, we'll just have to keep wondering. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button below. I appreciate all the support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Now check out this video on black holes. You've heard Billie Eilish's song about it, but what actually is a black hole?